lot of times, man, I just view myself as that trailer park kid growing up. And it took me a while to get out of that mindset and that mentality of, not being a victim, but being a victor of my life. And a lot of times it's easy to play that victim card of like, woe is me. This is always how life has been. It's always going to be this way. And you have to dig yourself out of that hole and go, man, I hear you and I see you, but I fucking refuse to stay there. And you have to be the victor of your life.
Welcome to Get Scene Unscripted. I'm your host, Jesse Malinowski. We are going to dive into acting insights, meet industry pros, and master the business. Don't forget to subscribe and share. We're keeping you behind the scenes and ahead of the game. What's going on, everyone? I'm Jesse Malinowski, and this is Get Scene Unscripted. Thanks so much for tuning in, hanging out with us. Get ready to be served on your journey in a positive way. By the way, if you haven't subscribed, make sure to do so because we're bringing in incredible actors, industry pros, and agents and casting directors, stuntmen, directors. We really just bring in so many people that can help your journey. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And now, let's dive in. Got a dope dude in the house, friend Drew Ater.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
Thanks for hanging out, man. Thanks for having me.
Dude, very happy to have you. I am excited about our conversation today because we haven't really had this type of conversation on the podcast yet. Because you were just, bro, like you are crushing it in the like vertical world.
Trying.
Right?
Yep.
And
good.
I feel like people are like, kind of like talking shit on the verticals. We were kind of talking about it beforehand, which I'm just like, it's like so silly. It's like, why would you not want to work?
Oh, it's hysterical.
Right?
I get it, and I understand why you're talking shit, but while you're talking shit, I'm working. That's kind of my thought process.
Dude, I love it. That, like,
right.
and the podcast is over.
Yeah.
While you're talking shit, I'm working.
I'm like, all right, great. And I mean that in the nicest, most humblest way. But
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay, all right, great.
Dude, but seriously, congrats, man.
Thanks,
because you were, how many have you done? I mean, and you're the number one on like all of them, correct?
I've done, number one or number two.
Yeah.
I have done 7 so far, all the leads. So that's been cool, man. It's been a journey.
How was that for you? Because, when you think about a lot of the stuff that, we're auditioning for, we were talking about like maybe booking a Marvel thing or a DC thing. And so, maybe it's a solid little recurring or something like that, but, you're never one or two.
Yeah.
So how was it like taking that on?
If I'm being honest, the Money Guns and a Merry Christmas, I mean, that's over 300 million views right now. I play it off like I was confident, cool, and collective. I was nervous inside.
Were you?
Just because I wanted to make the people that believed in me look great. And so that's always been kind of my motto. And also when you're, we get a whole bunch of dialogue, and especially with this writing a lot of times, it's things that we would never say. And so I'm like, how do I find Drew throughout this script? How do I bring this to life? And I kind of just related it back to like playing sports or, with training. You just consistently just take down the dialogue. I would write it, find my emotion, find my story throughout the script. And I just beat it to death. And then when we showed up on set, I just trusted my work. And then luckily we had a really good team. The Real Shorts team here in Atlanta is phenomenal. And, I had some really good actors. Thomas King, he was my antagonist the whole time. And just being able to bounce back and forth off of him, it was so great. And then my co-star, Anna, she was awesome. And so they really came prepared and ready to play. And with these verticals, the stakes are so low, and the choices and the things that you kind of get to make that we don't on a Marvel set, or we don't when we're shooting CBS, because we really get to play here. That's what excited me. Yeah. But man, I was nervous because I was like, I really want these people, they believe in me. And when somebody believes in you, I just want to make them look good.
Dude, and like you said, 300 million views on that one.
Crazy.
Dude, crazy.
What?
Like, and I'm sure you had no idea.
None.
Like, you're just like, what is this indie thing I'm doing?
Yeah, I was like, what am I shooting? I have no idea. What Damian Blaine, CEO, defense. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And you're just hoping that when we're shooting something, you're like, well, I hope it gets a couple million views. I hope they don't can be after this. But it was slow, man. It was a slow burn. The first week, we didn't really have much. And then January started to pop off 100 million. And then, February, March, it was still #1 on their charts. And now, there's a whole Reddit thread about, money guns and a Merry Christmas. Or like, I was out getting some food the other day, and they're like, "Are you Damian Blaine?" Maybe I am.
That's awesome.
That was cool, man.
That's awesome, dude. Were you like following it? Like, were you like, let's see? You were?
That was cool. Well, especially because it was really my first one being, #1 on the call sheet.
Yeah.
And the level of confidence that gave me, because we can talk about, what it's like to be the 1 or the 2. But when you're able to see your name next to that 1, there's that level of empowerment that gives. And also kind of like being a quarterback of the team. Like, it's on you to deliver. And so being able to do that and see how well it's done, and knowing that, not only did the cast do a phenomenal job, but the crew that we had was, phenomenal. Our director, Simon Yin, he kind of gets it, and it's so helpful working with people that understand this vertical world, because it's so vastly different than, shooting horizontally, shooting cinematically, because everything's so tight.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the amount of movements, or like if we're doing like a makeout scene, I'm making out kind of here while the camera's here, but I'm cheating the camera to make sure you pick me up while I'm still trying to make it look sexy. I'm like, well, I've got back pain now, but we're fine. Okay.
How else is it different acting wise? Because I feel like there's so many, and why I was like so excited to have you on is like, we talked about people kind of like talking trash on like the scripts and stuff like that, but it's just like, like, make it your own. Like you said, it's like low stakes. It's funny. I'm like, you say low stakes, but I'm like, but it's also the highest stakes.
Big time. Richest man in the world.
Yeah.
Comes from poverty, saves his wife.
Yes, exactly. You're right. But I mean, it really is like the new soap opera. It's like really what it is.
Yeah. It's Hallmark on steroids. And they're smart, because when homegirl or homeboy's sitting on his toilet in the bathroom just swiping through, you end up watching an 1.5 hour long video in no time. And it's smart in the sense of, it's 1 to 2 minute clips, and they get you hooked. And so each time, especially for these, each episode has like an ending beat. So you want to make sure that you as an actor, it's like, I'm the rich CEO. Hold it. Pause. Jawline. Drew. Da-da-da.
Yeah.
And so it's cool. It's understanding too the complexities of shooting in a tight space. And I think for the 1s and the 2s, they still, as much as everyone else is so big, they still want you to keep it as grounded as possible, because you need a little bit of, color and contrast. If everybody was massive the entire time, it'd be like, all right, cool, my brain's on fire. But that's the cool thing with these, man. It's a lot of work. And it's, we were talking earlier, it's some of the best classroom training I've ever had. And it's a way for me to work on my craft, breaking down 20, 30 pages of dialogue sometimes. A lot of times we'll get these scripts a week, 2 weeks in advance. It's all right, cool, Jesse. Need you to be off book, man. You're the 1 or the 2. And, you set the tone being top 3, top 4 when you're on set.
Yeah.
And if you're not off book, people are going to see that and read that. And I'm just very big on being professional, showing up to set. I don't care what this is. I don't care if you deem it as a vertical or something is less, it's not as big as an HBO thing. Great. Love that. I still want to show up and show out, because you gave me a chance or an opportunity. So I'm big on that.
Dude, I love that. And I feel like you're like one of the most, like, I feel like dedicated dudes that I know. You're so humble, but then like also like very confident in your body, right? If you haven't found this guy on Instagram, go look him up with his shirt off. Go find him.
Jesus, take it.
But I mean, dude, you're like so dedicated. You know what I mean? And so like I love that. Like you're like, whatever, vertical, HBO, it doesn't matter. Like I'm here to work, and I'm here to give it my best.
Yeah.
And it's like let's all get there.
Yeah.
Instead of like judging things, that's not as good. It's like, let's just get to work.
Who cares? We get to play.
You're better off for it every single time.
1,000%. I try and correlate this to, we are kind of talking about Marvel. We've both shot with Marvel before, and the lines are what, 5 and under, if that. With these, we're the 1s or the 2s. And we're getting out there with 300,000 million views. I shot Red 1, and I had a 1 line and a salute. At least with these verticals, we really get to play. We get to digest dialogue. It's making me become not only a better actor, but how to be even more professional when on set.
Yeah.
And have that confidence of like, it's okay to call for line. It's okay to take a moment beforehand when they call action. Like, you really get this sense of just self-belief within yourself being on these sets, because you're breaking down, like I said, sometimes we'll shoot 15, 20 pages, and we'll shoot the same scene for 2 days. and it's exhausting. But guess what? You might only have one take, Jesse. So this is your coverage, my guy. So you better get it. So just being able to deliver and make these as watchable and manageable as possible is huge.
Hey, if you are a parent of a young rising star, then listen up. We have what we call our Rising Star program, and this program is so simple but so effective. It really follows something I created that I call my triangle of success. And what this does is no matter what actor is trying to move forward in their journey, I believe if you follow the triangle of success, you'll be able to do it. And it's following three simple things: understanding that this is a business, and then improving your auditions, and then improving your connections. And so that's what we do every single month. It's super simple. You get 2 online workshops because the whole program is online, because that's where the business is now. And so you get 2 workshops every single month. One focuses on auditioning, commercial or theatrical, because those are the auditions that you're going to be getting that will eventually make you money when you book them. Theatrical and live Zoom. And so you work on a specific type of audition every single month. And then the next workshop, we bring in an industry pro. Not to mention, there's Q&As with every single industry pro where we can focus on that business. So you see that triangle of success where it's auditions, business, and then connections. When you follow that formula, you will undoubtedly move forward faster in your journey. So I want to hook you up right now. Head to the description in the bio right now, and you will see a discount code for $19 for your first month. That's less than $10 a workshop. So go ahead and try out the first month for only $19, and we'll see you in our Rising Star program.
You talked about it being like some of the best classroom experience too. I'm like, I saw a casting director, I think it was on like Instagram, talking about these and how like they're the new soap opera, and they're like, it's such a great time. Like, this is a place for you to learn and earn.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, I love that. Like, it's so true. And it's like, bro, I'm telling actors, I'm like, yo, I wish this shit was around when I was coming up.
I
was auditioning for bullshit, like student film fake trailers and stuff like that. It was like, and you know, like I'm like practically paying them to be part of their project. And now, like, how many of these are they doing a month?
Well, they're about to hop on, and this is just the Atlanta team. They're about to be running two crews.
Yeah. So two of these every month.
No, that'd be 4. They've got 4. Yeah, so they've got 2 teams. Yeah, so every like 2 weeks a different team. So they branch off. So you've got Team Odd and Team Evens, and this is just Atlanta. I mean, Real Shorts just signed a deal with Brazil. They're going to be shooting there. They shoot New York, LA. They're traveling to Singapore, and I'm just like, in a time where it's so slow, and the last thing I want to do is go back and have to bartend. You're telling me I get to be on set and work and play and train and work on my craft, and especially too, my favorite thing, man, especially with the Real Shorts team here in Atlanta. They're my friends now, you know, and we get it. And that's ultimately always been the goal. The goal. You know, you look at Adam Sandler, and I got to work with him back in the day. And ended up getting his mom a Sprite. Didn't know who it was, but I was wearing a cutoff shirt. And he came, and we talked for a bit. And I was like, hey, man, you know, do you listen to all the chaos and all the, you know, negative things people have to say? And he's like, look around. Is that I work with my friends, and Happy Gilmore is X amount of dollars. And that's always kind of been the vision and the goal for me, is just to be able to create and build and film and work with my friends. And that's what I get to do right now. You know, there's the stakes are so I get to see, you know, my DP again, or my, you know, my UPN or my first AD, and I'm like, cool, like I know what to expect, and this is fun. And for me, that's what TV and film and should be about. It's like the stakes don't always have to be game 7, game on the line. Like when you get to just go and play without, you know, the stress of everything else, and you just get to be and be present, I'm like, I love this.
Bro, and like a confidence comes with that.
Huge.
Like confidence that like you can only gain from just like doing, right? Like no books are gonna do it. No. The on camera 1, 2, 3 class is not gonna do it. Like the type of confidence you're getting right now is like unprecedented.
Oh yeah. How people see me compared to the, you know, the proactive kid that I used to view myself for so long. Because, you know, back in high school, I never looked this way. I used to look like the before photos of those stupid proactive commercials. Because I was like, where's the after? I was like, it never happened. I was like, I'm still the same. Damn it. And so it wasn't, man, until, you know, luckily I'm a late bloomer and I didn't peak in high school. And through fitness and through training and kind of just working my ass off and then understanding like, whoa, people really view you differently the better you take care of yourself. But also, too, I grew up watching my mom struggle with her health and watching the people I really care about the most struggle with health issues that could have been deterred or avoided if they would have kind of put that on the forefront. But that wasn't really talked about. It was kind of, we could afford what we could. And when I got to an age of like, no, I'm really going to make my health, a staple in my life, it was, things started to change, how I viewed myself, building the confidence, because confidence for me has taken forever to build. And where people and how people see me now, I'm like, a lot of times, man, I just view myself as that trailer park kid growing up. And it took me a while to get out of that mindset and that mentality of, not being a victim, but being a victor of my life. And a lot of times it's easy to play that victim card of like, woe is me. This is always how life has been. It's always going to be this way. And you have to dig yourself out of that hole and go, man, I hear you and I see you, but I fucking refuse to stay there. And you have to be the victor of your life.
How did you ultimately get to that thought process, right? Because right now you're like, I could have been there, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But like ultimately, how did you like make that decision? How did you take that action? How did you say, I'm going to leave that behind? That's not my identity. I'm going to create a new version of myself that I know I'm capable of being.
Yeah. I think physically I had done it a lot longer coming out of like, once I left the home and was able to kind of step away from that situation, and throughout college I started training and then kind of getting away. I did fitness modeling for a bit and stuff like that. On the outside, I was becoming that, but it wasn't until right after, during COVID, Pierce Lackey, a buddy of mine, I took him up to go see the trailer that we kind of like grew up in and like kind of the spots that we lived in. And I saw, the floors and the holes in the wall and just how we kind of grew up. And it reminded me of...
You and Pierce grew up together?
No, I don't know, but I just showed him. I was
like a friend.
I used to be super...
I know Pierce.
Yeah, Pierce, my boy, yeah. I used to be super insecure about like showing people how I grew up.
Yes.
So I would put on this facade or I'd play this game or, for the longest time I would act. I wouldn't let people really come in. So I kind of showed him, this is the real me. This is all of it's out there. And so when I was able to step away from that and really have that realization of like, well, like this is really what I've come from and what we've been able to get through. And then kind of change my mindset of, okay, cool. I'm going to lead with gratitude instead of woe is me or why is my life this way? I'm going to be grateful that I'm out of there. I'm going to be grateful for, waking up. I'm going to be grateful for my health. And it took me a while, man. It's really understanding too where your hurt or your trauma or your insecurities come from and trying to navigate through that and really walk through the fire. And then, it ultimately really kicked in when I lost my mom. Because when she passed, I was like, that girl's my best friend. And seeing everything that she went through, I was like, I can't afford to live in that mindset because I have so much more to prove, not only for myself, but to show her that everything that she did her whole life, the sacrifices were worth the shit. And so it's on me now. And so I think for me, that kind of kicked. And that slowly started to build even more confidence. Not just Drew the actor, but Drew the person. Because we can put on a show for a lot of people, and we can get away with it 90% of the time because organically people aren't actually looking to, listen. They're just looking to, cool, when's my next time to talk? But now organically having that voice and having that power after everything I've kind of seen and grown up with, I'm like, that's the true strength. I might have a fucking 6, 7, 8 pack, bro, but it don't mean nothing if, internally it's broken and the engine don't work.
Yeah. What kind of gave you the idea to show your buddy Pierce, like, where you came from, which sounds like to me like that was kind of the beginning of you kind of being like, this is where I came from, this is where I am now, and kind of maybe developing a sense of pride for yourself, which then kind of turns into a different type of confidence of who you are and who you can be. Like, what gave you the idea to do it, right? Because you hid it for so long, it sounded like, right? Oh, yeah. It's like, what was the deciding factor of like, I'm gonna open up, I'm gonna be vulnerable, kind of similar to what you're doing right now?
I think for me, it was just, I got tired of my pride getting in the way. And I think, I kind of had to sit with myself a little bit and go, why are you embarrassed about this? That's at the end of the day, my mom had a conversation with me, and she would have her issues, and she was like, Andrew, from the outside looking in, we might be trash, but I'm not white trash. And I was like, everything I've worked for, I have. And this is, no matter, on the outside looking in, it might not be massive and that might not be huge, the fancy cars and stuff like this, but I've worked my ass off to get it. And for me, I was like, he's trying. Why am I embarrassed of like how I grew up? I think for me too, I was so worried that people would view me different, or, he would view me different, or just people in general, it's like, wow, you really grew up, because you can talk about it. But when you really see it firsthand, you're like, oh shit. Like, okay, he wasn't kidding. I think for that, I just really wanted to have somebody else kind of be like, oh, have that vulnerable moment with somebody where he can go, no, Drew, and it's okay. I think there's a lot of hurt and a lot of pain and a lot of issues that we struggle with a lot of times, that we're so afraid to bring people in because we think they're going to view us differently. And I lived that way for so long, and I did have kind of that judgment based upon me. But I was like, man, you do need really quality people in your life that see you and go, cool, I see your mess. I see that. That's not you. I love you for you. And I think for me, I just really wanted to show somebody that.
Wow. I feel like if you own that, I mean, look, we all want to progress, right? And we all want to like get to the next level from wherever, maybe we started at, whatever that might be. And it's like, we need to be proud of the things that we're accomplishing, proud of the things that we're doing, and not be ashamed of it. Yep. And I think most people, like, and you obviously know, because I'm sure Pierce was great about it, but it's like, nobody's like looking at you negatively. If anything, they're giving you props. They're giving you fucking high fives. Damn, let's go, you know?
Yeah. I think for me too, I think internally I didn't want the pity, because for me, I didn't want somebody to go, hey, I'm sorry for you, or this, because I'm like, no, I use this as motivation.
Right.
Like, this is what wakes me up in the morning, knowing what I came from to here, that's my gratitude when I'm on set, no matter how long the friggin' shoot day is, no matter how chaotic the sets can be, I'm like, man, it's still better than the alternative. It's still better than that. And me just being grateful has helped so much in my life, because I feel like a lot of times people think just that it should be given, or opportunities are, just given to them.
Oh yeah, people think they're owed things.
Yeah, rent is owed every single friggin' month. And how you show up and how you treat people and the work that you put in, not on yourself just physically, but internally, says a lot about you and who you are when you show up on set, man. People don't want to work with assholes.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick, man. Like, show up, be grateful, and have fun, man.
So is the like the dedication that you have, right? The like tenaciousness. It's like, I think we can see how, like, where that kind of comes from. You're like, I don't want to go back to that. I need to, get to the next version of myself. But for the person that's maybe struggling with that, like, what advice do you have to instill that type of like dedication? Because I think there's no matter what it might be, like someone's trying to like get more dedicated in their acting, start a business, lose weight, get the six pack, whatever, like you, I feel like have really been able to like master dedication in a very special way. Like what would you say is maybe the secret sauce if you haven't come from the trailer park?
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily, even say it'd be the secret sauce, but I think having a strong enough why that carries you through your moments of doubt, or, the days that you don't want to show up, no matter what that looks like, is important. And you have to make it so just absolutely just for you. And it's got to be for Jesse, because a lot of people do these generic, that's why New Year's resolutions never work. Oh, yeah, they're so surface level, man. Yeah. And you have to attach your why to an emotion or a feeling that is only personable for you and for me. And, mine was, I want to get my mom out of the situation that we grew up in. And so no matter what I was going through, and I have days where I fall off too. And I have days where I struggle, and I have days where it's like, fuck, man, I don't want to get out of bed. But, I've got some voice memos from my mom that I listen to. I'm like, all right, let's go. And, there's, I think, too, like, we only see on social media, we only see everybody's finest. We only see everybody when they're at the top of their game. And I think those moments of when you're not feeling that way and having something strong enough to pull you out of bed, or to give you a smile, or to, just have a why that is crucial and inevitably yours. And for me, that's what helps me. You got to make it important, man. Because if not, if it's a surface level thing, I get guys all the time that are like, well, Drew, I could look like you one day, then why don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then do it. And don't talk about it. And I think too, we live in such a world where people like to talk, but people don't like to execute, because executing is hard. And executing takes sacrifice. And executing also is, you throw shit out there and it may not be perfect to everyone. So guess what? You're going to get the negative feedback. People are going to talk shit. Your biceps aren't big enough, bro. Whatever. You skip leg days. Oh, cool. What are you doing? And you got to be okay to handle with all that, because you're working on yourself. And as long as you make you the forefront of your why and why you're doing it, that's what helps push you through.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I want to talk about the verticals again, but before we do, I want to talk about switching agents.
Yeah.
Because I know that you had made a switch, and I think that can be tough for people. So why did you ultimately decide to make a change? And I think it's important for actors to know that it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
In this perfect fairy tale world, right? We're with the same agent for 30 years and we grow old together and it's the best, and it's just maybe not realistic.
Yeah.
Also, So so you switch it. You were with a top agent.
Yeah.
You moved to you moved to another top agent. How come? Why?
I think for me, I just wanted to have a different voice. And I love my team, and I love, I love AMT. I love everybody over there. Sarah, Jason, Kelly, Madison. They believed in me before anybody else would. And man, I have some real shitty auditions to back it up. But they stuck with me through a lot of things, and I just wanted a different voice, man. I just wanted to see what it would look like for somebody else to push me or pitch me. And that's ultimately what it came down to. I think a lot of actors a lot of times are so afraid to speak up or have a voice or, do that, because they're like, well, what if I blackball myself? Or what if I, if you're leading with good intentions, which I think I was, you only get one chance at this fucking life, man. If you're having any doubts or second thoughts, good or bad, I just did not want to sit with that what if.
Right.
And that's big for me. Ultimately, 9 times out of 10, the decisions I make, if there's a what if or I hate sitting with it. And I'm I'm just going to bet on me. And I'm going to take the chance to throw it out there. And as soon as I did, a month into it, they're like, we're letting your agent go. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so you were with AMT, you moved to a different agent, and that agent got let go. So you're like, this was a horrible decision.
Are you kidding me? I was like, well, all right, see you later. But luckily, and I think that's what's so cool about Atlanta is you're able to make genuine connections with people. You're able to build relationships that you can't build elsewhere because, for the most part, a lot of the actors, you and I, we would go out for a lot of the same roles. But guess what? I never view you as competition. I don't think you view me as that either, because what you bring to the table and what I bring to the table are two completely different things.
Yeah, exactly. If they're casting you, I'm like, why Drew?
Yeah, and if they're exactly.
I wasn't going to get it.
Yeah, and that's my thought behind this. It's, that a lot of people that are really about this and understand what it takes to be successful in this industry, they don't view others as competition. I view myself as my own competition. I'm like, what I bring to it is solely on me. If you get it, fuck yeah, because I'm going to hype you up because that's going to look great for the Atlanta market. And that's how I view it. But, we're able to build genuine connections here with people that you can't build elsewhere. And I just had those connections built through playing sports and called up Corey. And he was like, hey, let's have a meeting. I was like, hey, man, I don't know if you have anybody in my category. 5'9" guy who's kind of in shape, but I'd love to have a conversation, pal. So we had the meeting, and the rest is kind of history.
Yeah.
So we've been working together ever since, and I'm super grateful for him.
Yeah, privilege is dope. Shout out to Jake and Corey and the team.
Big time.
So your thought was just if someone else is pitching me, it might end up different.
Yeah, I just wanted to see. I had gotten to a point kind of in my career where I was grateful for the roles I was getting, but I was like, I want to do more, and I want to be seen in a different light. And you get typecast a lot of times, which I'm grateful for. And listen, typecast the hell out of me if you want to, because that means I'm working. But there were other things that I wanted to be doing and jobs that I wanted to be working that I just wasn't feeling like was being satisfied creatively. And so it just kind of came down. And also to it, this was all during the same time of me losing my mom once again. And so for me, I was like, fuck it. Why not? Take a chance on you. Man, I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, the only thing I trusted was myself. And I thought about it for a hot second, man. And because I ultimately, too, it came down to I didn't want to burn bridges because I was super grateful for my team. And I loved everything that they had done. So I didn't want them to take it personal because a lot of times people do and they can. But ultimately, it just came down to me going, I just want to see what my career would look like with a different voice behind it. And that's it.
And I think, if there's any agents watching, I think it's a good thing to remember is like, you're like, my mom had just passed, like, you just like fucking life was happening to you, bro. Do you know what I mean? And so sometimes that's what it comes down to. Yeah. It's just like, life is happening and I just need a little bit of a reset. Yeah. I just need, and sometimes that's the motivating factor. And it's like no shade against the team at that time, right? You're just like, I do love them, but like, I just think I got to go out in this direction based on life right now. Yeah. So I think that's good to remember. And then I think also good to remember for like on the talent side of things, it's like trust your instincts.
Yeah. And also ultimately it comes down to like, you still have to be the one who's in control of your career. Yeah. Period. A lot of times I see actors who talk about wanting to get an agent. Well, that's great, but what are you doing too? Right. What toppings, Jason had a great analogy when I first met him. He's like, I view you as a pizza. The more toppings that I give you, the more that I can pitch you, the more I can sell you. It's very similar to that. It's like, what are you doing as an actor? While everybody else is partying, out drinking, out doing this, what are you doing? Are you working on your craft? Are you creating new headshots, updating your stuff? So then when, Jesse pitches you, he's got all of this to lay out on the table, and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I view this career because, you could get called in tomorrow. Hey, Jesse, you ready to go for it? Gotta be. Cool. Yep. All right. Gotta be ready to go. But if I need 2 weeks to get in shape or get ready for a role, they're going to give it to somebody else who's prepared and ready to go.
Exactly.
Oh man, I am so excited. And I tell you what, if you're enjoying the podcast, I know you're going to want to hear this. We have our 3-day virtual actor summit coming up. This event is a 3-day online immersive event, 3 full days that are focused on moving you forward, getting you inspired, giving you a game plan to reach those next set of goals that you so deeply want to achieve. I love the Virtual Actor Summit so much because I can make you this promise that this will be undoubtedly one of the best online actor events you will ever attend. We bring instructors in from around the country, some of the top industry pros. We put together different panels and online workshops that really get you outside of your comfort zone so you can truly grow. What's so fantastic about this event is because you're completely immersed, right? So you have to grow. And that's what we're all trying to do, right? Is grow in our actor journey and grow in who we are as people. And so I just want to urge you so much to go to the description right now. There's a little bit of a discount there for you and grab your ticket, okay? It's 3 full days. And I'll tell you, we already have one of the top casting directors in the Southeast in Feldstein, Paris, Chase and Tara already confirmed for this event. They've cast a bunch of different Marvel projects, Ozark, Stranger Things, the list goes on and on and on. So if you want to put yourself in a situation to really move your career forward, you have to take action. So take some action right now, head to the description, grab that discount code, and we'll see you at the Virtual Actor Summit.
Dude, so you're the vertical world, you just did a 3-picture deal.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
Crazy.
So how did that come about? I mean, obviously you had the one that got 300 million views. So like you're a celebrity in the virtual world, bro. So like how did that come about? Like for you to be what was that just something that like the privileged team was like, let's go get a bigger deal, or they offer, or you had the idea? Like where did it come from? Because I do think a lot of people are looking at the verticals. They're like, the scripts are bad and it pays like trash, and we just have all this negativity spouting out, right? Yeah. But I'm like, dude, a 3-picture deal, like what is that over 6 weeks, 3 months? Like what like, dude, this is incredible. This is sick, dude.
Yeah, it goes until October. So I've already knocked out 2 of the movies into the 3-picture deal. But the Real Shorts team came in, they flew in from LA, interviewed me and Anna just talking about Money Guns. And I had been approached from different vertical companies because, I mean, you've got, Real Shorts, which is kind of like top dog in the US.
We need your abs.
Yeah, exactly.
We need your abs in the next
Daddy December. Here we go. But, you know, I'd been hit up with other offers and things like that. And I was like, listen, I want to be, and I want to work with Real Shorts. And this is the team, because once again, I cannot emphasize enough how great the team here in Atlanta is, because, bro, they get it. And, you know, some people come in with this mindset of like, we're going to shoot this to win an Oscar, or, you know, bro, stop. Like, like, relax. Like, as much as we want to get this cinematic shot in post, they're going to up the lights and make everything look pretty. Like, chill out. And the team in Atlanta really gets it, man. And I'm so adamant about working with them too, because I think for so long, the Atlanta market, and you know, we're the redheaded stepchild a lot of times. You know, they'll fly talent in from LA or New York because we can't deliver. But we have the talent here. We have the crew here that's talented as fuck. We have the actors that are talented. And I think for me, I was just, hey, I want to work with this team. I want us to do great work, and I want to showcase what we have here. And that was kind of my big thing. And then luckily, Jacob and Corey were able to be the guys to help negotiate with that, and it kind of just fell into place, man.
Hell yeah, man.
So.
Bro, I honestly think that like this like quote unquote vertical, right? I'm like, I feel like all the major studios are gonna have, they're gonna be like, you know, horizontal films, vertical films. Like I feel like Netflix is gonna have to come out with a version too.
Netflix just dropped $15 billion worth of streaming. Like, you can't tell me that, you know, the vertical world it's not going anywhere. I mean, Deadline, we were talking about it previously, but Deadline just dropped, $6.3 billion was made in Singapore from the vertical world. Like, and they're going to gravitate to where the money's at. So if you and I are, you know, talking on this podcast while somebody's watching, they can watch this vertical, just swipe it, like, the money is there. And we know companies right now, and they're like, where's the dollar? And we shoot these 110 pages of script in 8 to 10 days.
Dude.
And it's just like, we're pumping these out. And the cool thing about these too, you know, we don't wait 9, 10, you know, maybe a year when it comes to get these released. You know, we'll shoot them in 2 weeks, and then 2-3 months later, our work's out there.
Wow.
And so the more that they're able to pump, and the more that they're able to see Jesse's face or Drew's face or, you know, Candace's face out there, you know, that's the cool thing. It's like the exposure's coming quick, rather than a Marvel film that might take 3-4 years. Or maybe, who knows? You know, or whatever film that we shoot, you know? And that's the cool thing. They're very consistent. They got a great editing team. They're on an algorithm, and they know it's formulaic, and they know how it works, and they just push content. And it's up to you as the actor to deliver. So
yeah, dude, I think that you know, like your vertical demo reel or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be another tool that you have as an actor. Yeah. And bro, like, you are, and everyone else that's doing these right now, I think, like, you know, if and when, you know, Peacock verticals,
exactly.
Netflix verticals come out, like, y'all are going to be ahead of the game, because it's like y'all have already been shooting on it. You get it, the little nuances and differences in shooting that style of film, right, is you're already going to know it, while everyone else is trying to figure it out or trying to get used to it. So it's like such a great way to be gaining confidence, getting more set experience, just get the reps, bro, of you getting, you know, all these pages that you're doing, bro. It's just like, it's incredible, man. I'm so excited, so happy for you, proud of you, bro.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man.
We're just rocking it right now, man. You know,
keep it going.
Just taking it as it comes. I'm grateful for it, man. And it's just, it's cool. It's, you know, it's also cool too to see a lot of Atlanta talent show up and show out on these too. That's what's fun for me. Like, you know, I get inspired by seeing other people see themselves on camera and be like, yo, shit. I was like, yeah, you look fucking great, dog. Let's go. Come on. And I don't know, that's what's fun, man. And I think too, the more actors really take these, you don't have to take them serious, but just take them and be a professional and show up. You know, it makes them so much more fun, man. When you're able to bounce off some of this crazy-ass dialogue with people that are really in it, I'm like, now we're in the trenches. Now we're playing, man. That's what it's about.
Nice, dude. Nice. Well, Drew, this brings us to our spotlight sign-off. 5 questions to end strong, but incredible conversation. But we gotta end it strong, brother.
Let's go, baby.
Number 1, what's something you're super grateful for today?
Super grateful for today. Ooh, great question. Super grateful for today. Honestly, probably my girlfriend. I'm super grateful for her. So she's we met shooting a vertical. Yeah. And kind of just happened, and she's been a staple and just a rock And so she's a flight attendant. She's back in town finally, so we get to hang out and catch up. So it's been a hot second.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Shout out to the girlfriend.
Let's
All right.
go.
Question 2 is what is a film, television show, or book that changed the trajectory of your life?
The movie Warrior with Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton. The dynamic between Tom Hardy with his father, Nick Nolte, and then just the dialogue between him and his brother. I related a lot to it. And anytime I watch that movie, it's, between the scene with him and Joel on the beach, or the scene with him and his dad in the hotel when he's hugging his dad, or like the final scene of, Joel telling Tom, it's okay, you can let go. You can tap. I was like, oof. So that right there. Just, and seeing the physicality of everything too, and the vulnerability of it, I really related a lot to that. And so for me, that was one of those movies of like, this is the kind of stuff I want to do one day.
Oh, yeah. What's something in your daily routine that you really cherish?
My time with my dogs. I've got a 8-pound Chiweenie. I've got 3 dogs. It's aggressive. But when my mom passed, she had 2 of them. And one was a Chiweenie. His name's Buck. And he's 8 pounds of he's a pile of shit. But man, I love him. And it reminds me so much of just my mom. And it's one of those things that, whenever he's a bit of a dickhead, I get to look up. I'm like, all right, so this must have been what it was like, you raising me. I'm like, I understand, I get it, I hear you.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that's my piece.
Oh, yeah, but that's really sweet. I was going to say, I bet the dog makes you think of your mom a lot.
1,000%. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Especially when he pisses on my blanket. I'll kill you.
What's something you're currently trying to improve in your life right now?
Moments to slow down and try and take everything in. Because a lot of times with me, I feel like faster is better and go. And a lot of times I don't have time to just sit down, decompress, and really take life in. And I'll find moments, here and there, but to really sit and be present and let my mind be, in this moment with you and I compared to the 9 million other things that I'm trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
And just sit and just be present and be grateful. That's one thing.
How do you do that? Like, how do you remind yourself? Like, what is it? Just moments that you're like, oh, slow down. Yeah. Like, what?
Music for me is very therapeutic, and especially like if I'm in the sauna, or there's moments where I just get to sit, and even if it's in the car, and just sit and just chill for a second and check in with myself. I think a lot of times, from the outside looking in, everybody thinks everything's going so great with how life is, but I think for us, especially with Men's Mental Health Month too, man, it's we don't have those conversations with ourselves about how's Drew doing today, how's Jesse doing today. So really finding the time, whether that's like I said, the sauna, or sitting in my car, even when I take my dogs for a walk, just kind of shutting the world off, putting my phone away,
like embracing the silence.
Yeah. And that's okay, because a lot of times the silence is, they can be scary for a lot of people too, because you really get to listen and hear, hone in on your own thoughts.
Yeah.
But it's necessary too.
Yeah. Last question.
Yeah.
We went over some cool stuff, and you're super vulnerable in a lot of areas, man. So thank you for that.
Of course.
If you wanted the listeners to get one thing for sure, maybe it's something we already talked about, or maybe it's something we missed. What would it be?
I would say probably out of everything, just trust in you, Confidence is key. That's the big thing, man, is through all of this, no matter what you go through in this life, no matter what your journey is, trust in what you've gone through to get to where you're at now, and have confidence that you're going to keep moving forward. I think that's big. A lot of times, trying to find that confidence, people just assume people are, but mine has taken years and years of work and practice and failure to have any sense of confidence within myself. But I look back on all the past things that I've gone through and been able to get through, and even just have this podcast with you. And that's where I hone in a lot of that.
Heck yeah. Drew Ater, man. Thank you for being here, bro. So dope having you, man.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks for having me, man.
Dude, very welcome. Thank you so much. And to the next 300 mil
Jesus,
views,
take the wheel. Oh, my rich CEO, vampire, billionaire, poor husband.
I love it. Thank you, man. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, send it to a friend. Yeah. Make sure to subscribe and hit us with a comment or a review right now on how the podcast is affecting your journey. Thanks again for being here. I'm Jesse Malinowski. That's Drew.
What's up, guys?
We'll see y'all on the next one.